everyone, and welcome to the Code Green NA tournament. We are in the first matchup of the day. Of course, it's the round of 16, so neither of these teams have real names yet. They have to earn that right. But we're going to be watching Team 7 versus Team 5 up on screen, and it's going to be a fantastic match to watch. But of course, joining me today is going to be Squiddish. How you doing, man?
I am good, Dryberg. Glad to be here. All the bands we got coming out across the board are pretty standard. Jean Kui decided to be banned. I don't want to deal with him even post nerf. He's still a giant truck of damage that can just walk into your team and devastate everyone. Other bands, of course, going to be Mercury, Zeus, and the newly buffed Chunga, which leaves a couple strong picks on the table.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I think a lot of people really, looking at Zhang Kui, they think, well, the change was a little bit too much. It was, now it makes him useless. I think what it did is it changed him from being always banned to just a strong character overall. He was just so bannable that if you didn't ban him, you were terrified. It was one of those things. Mercury in the same boat there. So Zhang Kui, Mercury banned out. Sobek first pick here, see if they can get some support tank action. Sobek always a great pick. He's pretty much fits into every situation ever. He's a great level 1 ganker, he's a great early laner, he's a great team fighter, invasion, he's great at coming over to the mid camps in the mid lane and using Hand of the Gods to clear those out for himself or for the jungler as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that Sobek can do, and it's always a great start.
Definitely just a very solid pick overall. Flipping over to the other side, we have Kronos. Everybody knows and fears the mighty power of the late game Kronos, who does not care about anyone who stands in his way. Able to run around as basically a magical hunter with ridiculously powerful auto attacks that although they can't crit, they just shred so hard they absolutely don't need to. Coupled with Thor, a jungler who's always been pretty good, fallen out of favor a little bit recently, but still possesses the ability to just show up completely unannounced and destroy hopes and dreams.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he does it often. Kronos, a very strong late game character. Thor, we haven't really seen a whole lot of. He kind of fell off. Sun Wukong, and he picked up here. Probably one of the strongest solo laners we have in the game currently. We also have one more pick coming out from T7. See what they want to go for. They have a solo slash jungler. Sun Wukong can do both of these roles quite well, and depending on where you go, it changes your skill set, whether you go for transformations or for the cudgel. Neith going to be selected here. Neith, again, one of those characters kind of fallen out of favor. When the early kills became less valuable, no one really wanted to have Neith, mainly because, I mean, she's a fantastic carry, but one of her strengths is ability to use that World Weaver to get ganks off in the mid lane, ganks off in the jungle, ganks in the support lane, or even across the way in the solo lane. I mean, there's so many ways that Neith can help with early kills, but now people just want to push towers.
And still, even though the kills aren't worth quite as much, gold-wise, still a good pick just for her ability to control in lane, and although the kills may not give you a lot, they're also denying the enemy team their valuable farm. So definitely not as good as she once was, but still a pretty solid carry pick. Back up to the other side here, we're going with Apollo, who used to be the eternal counterpart to Neith. It seems once upon a time, Neith Apollo was literally every single game ever. And Isis, who hasn't really shown up terribly often. Isis just doesn't really have the mobility to fit into a lot of situations. She's strong, don't get me wrong, she can put out a lot of damage, but she's also very easy to counter and shut down if not played very carefully.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, and sometimes people just don't know what to do with her. She is very counterable in the mid lane. I think Kibo is probably one of the best counters to Isis. She relies so heavily on her Wing Gust, which can easily be interrupted with a Water Spout or any kind of knock-up along the way, where she just can't push the lane without it. You'll see a lot of Isis end up going for their Spirit Ball maxed out first. For that very reason is that if Wing Gust ever gets interrupted for whatever reason, depending on who you're laning up against, it's really, really hard to do anything with her because that's a big portion of her damage. We're going to see Thanatos and Ra picked up here for Team 7. Thanatos, a fantastic jungler if played properly, and we're going to see if it can be played properly here. Athena, the last selection here for Team 5. They want to go for it. Emir and Athena kind of locking in, and Emir will be the choice. So the final lineup for Team 5 will be Thor, Kronos, Apollo, Isis, and Emir. It's going to be Apollo and Emir there in the long lane, Isis most likely in the mid lane, Kronos in the solo lane, and Thor in the jungle. Generally, Kronos has a little bit weaker mid lane than other mages, but a very strong solo lane, so he tends to lean over towards the solo lane. Across the way, Team 7 has Neith, Thanatos, Sobek, Sun Wukong, and Ra. Most likely we'll be seeing Neith and Sobek together in the long lane, Thanatos in the jungle, Sun Wukong in the solo lane, and then Ra in the mid lane. What can we say about these matchups here?
Well, it's going to be a pretty interesting fight. A bit of a lost opportunity to pick a mid lane who can take advantage of knocking Isis out of her Wingus channel, like you talked about a bit there. But Ra is very powerful, and he doesn't need to really counter her because he's got just as much push as she does. He can sit back, shoot his little pew pew laser beams, and of course, the Ra ultimate's pretty much one of the most satisfying things in the game when you get those really awesome snipes to finish people off. Definitely a good setup for both teams here. It's going to be really exciting to see who comes out on top.
It certainly will. We're going to a brief break, guys, when we sit through the spectator delay on the top of the screen. And when it's ready to go, it will be up on screen for you. So thanks so much for tuning in today. And a brief reminder, we did announce Divine Intervention, the charity tournament happening December 18th in December, obviously. And of course, if you guys donate today, if you go to tiermonster.com/divine/how-to, spelled out with no hyphen or anything like that, you'll be able to see ways that you can donate. If you have less than $10 donation, will be on PayPal. Over $10, you can just go to our CrowdRise page and donate. This all goes to charity. This doesn't go to any of us. It goes directly to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief. And anyone who donates today during our tournament will be entered into a chance to win a God Pack or 800 gems from Tiermonster. So they head over to tiermonster.com/divine/how-to, linked in chat for you, and you may be eligible to win a God Pack, gems, or of course also be entered in all the winnings for the Divine Intervention Tournament, God Pack, t-shirts, Steel Series gear, and the chance to play as well. So you guys will have a lot of options available to you. We'll be right back. We'll see you very soon. Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are underway here with the Code Green NA tournament. This is going to be Team 7 versus Team 5. The players are in the match and ready to go. Let's cover who's playing what and where they're going for what team. Team 7 will be the blue team, the bottom side of the map. Burning Blue on Neath here, heading out into the jungle. Behind him, Daska on the Thanatos, hopping his way through the jungle with his wings flapping wide. We also have Ninja Monkey on Ra there going to the mid lane, as well as Horakti on Sobek, Blade Guardian, Atyrion on Sun Wukong there in the solo lane. Crossway, the red team, Team 5, Sir Smallwood on Isis in the mid lane, Elite on Thor in the jungle, Hinamaru there on Kronos in the solo lane, Dandy on Amir for support, and an Axamundi playing Apollo.
Everyone's going out for a pretty standard start so far. No one really wanting to get aggressive or do any invading, content to just sit at their mid camps, but both teams have placed a ward at the opposite mid camp just to make sure that they know where everyone's at. And as you can see, the pings come out as soon as they left their ward. As soon as Team 5 walked away from the vision, Team 7 frantically pings their blue buff, making sure that they're not leaving to go do an invade, which they're not. They're just walking around doing the same thing, making sure that they're not being invaded since they can't see most of Team 5 at their own buff.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is you always want to split up. I'm very glad to see that we're out of that 5-man mid-camp meta where everyone was, for whatever reason, stacking up and splitting 90 gold between 5 people. And I don't really understand it, but it's going to be something that is gone now, thankfully. I see him getting buffs going across the way. The blue buff is going to be picked up now. A little bit late to the blue buff will be Team 7 here as Thanatos and Sun Wukong get late to that buff and now are forced to go into the lane directly, whereas you see Kronos and Thor already picking up movement speed and blue buff and already heading to the lane here, so I have a little bit of advantage. Hand of the gods, Sun Wukong going right on top of it, but Thanatos is not in place to do anything. He's going to throw a sideways scythe out there, but not going to land it on top, and they're going to back off.
Meanwhile, in mid lane, Raw's actually having a bit of difficulty with the early game of Isis here. He's very effectively clearing up the wave. Like we were talking about before, super early levels. One of the great things about Isis is so early she can clear waves with that Wingust Spirit Bow combo. As early as level 2 or 3, she has no problem clearing off entire waves. Raw's a great pusher, but he takes a couple levels to really get to the point where he's going to be able to stand up and outpush Isis, and right now he's just having some difficulty with it.
One of the biggest things about Ra, the way it used to be, is putting on the Solar Blessing gave you a damage buff. So you throw down the Solar Blessing on the melee minions, stand inside of it, and then throw out a Celestial Beam thereafter, which allowed you to scale up your Solar Blessing and then get your Celestial Beam stronger because of the buff that it gave. That buff no longer exists, so that push is lessened by Ra, and Ra over time is slowly becoming more of a support utility character and less of a damaging character. So right now, Ra, who, you know, like I was mentioning in the picking stage, has no way to interrupt that Wingust. She's just going to keep pushing. There's not a whole lot that Ra can do about it. He's going to be pressed up against his tower for quite some time.
For now, yes, definitely. Until he gets enough gear and enough gold and enough levels and a Celestial Beam that he can actually push down the wave with a single ability, which doesn't take him too terribly long, but definitely takes him a lot longer than Isis. He's going to be hanging out in Towerland for quite some time. Speaking of Towerland, Wukong facing the same fate here, as Wukong's early push is not great at all. And then when put up against Kronos, who's got pretty decent early push, he's going to be sitting on his tower all day, every day. We see a little fight breaking out here between Thanatos and Thor. A good chunking from Thanatos' one drops Thor down to a little over 100 HP. Ymir's rotating around to make sure no one flanks up and catches him out of position there as Thor has to retreat back into his own jungle. Thanatos wants this kill, but I don't think he's going to find anything.
So Wukong, speaking of wanting a kill here on the right side lane, actually gonna pop his ultimate to avoid a stun from Kronos. He's going to heal himself back up here, go back to lane, left lane to initiation on top of the Mir. Mir's going to go down here to a backflip of all things. A great grab from the Sobek. Isis rotating over, trying to find the Thanatos, interrupted by the Sobek right there. Half of it is gone now. Neath ultimate on the Isis, now going after. There is the Scythe. See if they can't get the damage off. I'm going to miss the one, actually, from the Thanatos quite low here. The Hammer's going to come out. He's going to hit Berserker Barrage. Will finish him off. And the Spirit Ball is there to get the kill as well. A 1-for-1 exchange. Thanatos for Ymir. Not that great of exchange here for Team 7. Initiation on top of the Isis. Now they have pretty low here. Isis going down. Spirit Ball going to come out, but gets burned by the sun as Ra gets the ultimate off. And that is going to be curtains for Isis. A 2-for-1 exchange in the left lane.
Not a horrible trade when you throw the Isis into the situation. 2-for-1, always going to be a pretty good pickup there. Those Ra ultimates. I love me a good Ra sniper. They might be picking up Apollo as well. If Neith still had her ult, of course, she did throw that one in to initiate earlier, so she doesn't have it available now to finish out this Apollo, who's just over 100 HP. But he is going to be forced back. He's going to be forced to go home. And since the waves are just barely coming in, he's going to miss an entire wave of farm. So definitely a good time to push him out of the lane.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and that's the biggest thing, is that a lot of people assume that the only way to win your lane is by getting kills, but if you force them back to the base where they miss minions, they miss experience, they miss gold, and they're always in transit from lane to lane, that is also a win as well. If you get someone to go back before they're ready to, that is a good win. Mid lane, Initiation Spirit Ball, as well as the Wind Gust dropping Ra to about half HP. There's a Silent Slow. Hammer comes out here, but Thanatos is already in the lane. The Scythe is going to silence out. That Initiation is going to jump away. Spirit Ball comes out. Does the Ice Ult have the ultimate here? There it goes, Thor up into the air here. He's going to come down with a dunk on top of the Ra. Will he be able to get it? The pop comes down. Circle Protection does some damage. Thor's gonna miss. Neath ultimate comes out as well. Might buy some time. It's gonna hit the Thor. Ice is getting so low. There goes the cudgel. Ice goes down. Thor might be falling down as well. Thanatos gets that one. Goes right up into the air. Is he gonna come back down? Is the question. There's Sun Wukong. Thanatos looks like he wants to go in. Apollo's here. There's the Thanatos dunk. Silence gonna come out. There goes the Apollo ultimate, but the cudgel again will finish off Apollo here. A huge cleanup for Team 7.
It went down pretty much right as he started ulting. Apollo did not stand a chance to get out of there, though. Thanatos is such a good counter to Thor. And this is one of the big problems with Thor. It's not just Thanatos. It's anyone who can interrupt your Berserker Barrage and knows to do so is going to pose a huge problem to Thor. And Thanatos is literally just built for this. His silence is there on one of his main damaging abilities and a big cone. Nearly impossible to miss if he's in range of Berserker Barrage in the first place. That's a big damage. It's a nuke. It's going to stop Thor's damage output and give Thanatos a huge upper hand every time they start fighting, just like what you saw happen right there.
Yep, so right now 5-2 there, Team 7 in the lead, 5 minutes and 50 seconds into this match. Looking at the graph, 1,200 gold up, as well as 2,300 experience. Amir joins in the left lane, but chooses not to initiate, but Sobek not going to be in the same boat. He jumps out, actually across the way. We also have initiation in the jungle. Looks like Kronos will go down, as well as initiation coming on top of the Thanatos. 1-for-1 exchange, and now here comes Sun Wukong by himself, but pretty tanky right now. Ra comes out half HP. Thor, does he have an ultimate? Looks like he does. He's going to go up into the air. Spirit Ball going to prevent them from falling up there. Does he fall back down? Looks like he will's going to hit on top of the Ra, but there goes Sun Wukong. Does the Cudgel come out? Looks like the Circle Protection come out. Finish up. There's the knock-up. Searing Pain not going to land, but Cudgel gets the last hit, and Sun Wukong on his last breath, running away beneath ult. Spirit Ball not going to land. Ra's going after this one. A few more basic attacks, and that will be the end of Isis. So overall, a huge 3-for-1 exchange yet again for Team 7. Thanatos goes down, and Isis, Thor, and Amir trade their lives for his.
Wukong getting away with what was probably like 15 HP there. Ra did a great job of getting up in Isis's face, just getting in the way and not letting her finish that kill. He was so very low but Ra made sure he was able to get away, and then a great Neath ultimate made sure that Isis died for trying to stick around in that fight just a little bit too long. That's the second good triple pickup for Team 7. They've had about 2 minutes, and so far this game's going pretty well in their favor. As you can see, they've got a little over a 2,000 gold advantage just 7 minutes into the game.
Yep, and you see left lane as well. Neath actually beating out the Apollo quite significantly here. Neath is going to be sitting at 4,100 gold, Apollo at 3,200, so almost 1,000 gold lead against the enemy Hunter on Team 7. So not only are they losing in the jungle battles, the mid skirmishes, the fights in the right lane, but not only that, the Hunters are in a huge disparity for gold. Neath going to scale very, very quickly. And Apollo, usually his strength is early game, mid game, able to push towers, harass in engagements, but late game, Neath definitely has higher damage output. On the right side, we see Kong going up into the air to avoid the gank from the Thor and the Kronos. Thor, surprisingly enough, sitting at level 7 right now.
He is definitely a bit behind. He's having some difficulty. He did just hit 8. Just barely. That Raw Beam did so much damage. Here comes the Neath stun. Is Raw going to be able to get Searing Pain off? This is the question. No. Thor is going to use his hammer to teleport away. He's going to escape. But the same cannot be said for Apollo, who gets ganked by Thanatos, who's now trying to pick up Ymir, but Ymir is just a beef castle. But with that Sobek throw, doesn't matter how strong you are when you get executed by a Thanatos dunk. But Sobek's going to trade his life for that. The silence coming out from Thanatos on Isis, but she's back in her tower right now. He doesn't have his ultimate to finish this off. He's really got no way to secure this kill. She's just going to sit here and cover this lane for a moment, since both members of the left side lane have been taken down.
Kong on the right side lane, going to push up into the blue buff. Looks like he actually did steal it away. His blue buff is up and available if he wants to take that. So, I mean, the right lane, Kronos having such a hard time here. Level 12 Sun Wukong versus level 9 Kronos. Thor hopping his way through the jungle. Thanatos in the left lane goes behind the tower and hits a scythe onto Isis in the back. Apollo's up in the air, looking for opportunity to do something. Emir's not in the same boat, and he's going to back off and land down on his tower. So Apollo ultimate not able to be used there to full effectiveness mid lane. Thor's going to join up, and Thanatos on his way over. But right now, it's not looking that great for Team 5. The scythe's going to come out. It's going to barely not have enough range on it. And Thor survives.
Oh, the range shut down that one. I don't know if it would have been enough to kill Thor, but if not, it would have been very close. It was going to hurt him a lot. Sobek shows back up in the left lane. Neath and Sobek have been pretty dominant over here so far for Team 7, sorry, and they're going to push up again to tower. They seem like they've been here pretty much all day, pushed all the way up, laying down some damage, and Neath's getting her first real opportunity to do a lot of damage to this tower here. Ymir trying his best to defend it, laying a glacial strike through the tower, freezing the Sobek and the melee minions, but there's just not a whole lot he can really do to get them back, and the tower loses about half of its HP in that exchange.
This is the mid lane, level 10 versus the level 12 Ra being pushed back here as the minion goes down. I mean, if you recall, Isis had a pretty big lead on Ra, pushing him down towards his tower repeatedly, but since the engagements in the jungle have been going in favor of Team 7, Ra has not only caught up, but passed her significantly. 2-level lead right now, Ra sitting at 5,100 gold versus Isis's 4,600. And in fact, Isis is the most farmed on her team, and just barely beating out the least farmed on Team 7, so it's looking very good for Team 7 right now. Isis gets some harassment here in the mid lane. There's a Celestial Beam. Does he have the snipe? The snipe's going to come out. Aegis aim, it gets popped there, and she's going to be fine, but does he have anything to follow up with? Circle Protection to heal her up. He's actually under tower range. No minion. Spirit Ball not going to land, and the Thor dunk going to miss as well. Thanatos coming in. It's raining men right now as Isis might go down. Thanatos gets the kill, heals up, but doesn't survive the tower shots. Neat ultimate. Ra comes through here, still taking tower damage. He's going to fall to the tower here, and Thor, left alone, will be standing tall. A 2-for-1 exchange for his team.
Not actually, because the tower got credit for the Ra kill. Nobody managed to hit Ra, so they didn't get any credit for that kill. And now Sobek and Wukong showing up at the mid lane. Wukong's cudgel coming out just a little bit early and not landing on the Thor because he was at the peak of Sobek's throw, where he does have some invulnerability frames, just like your average jump. Sobek trying to chase him down, goes into lurking in the waters. Thor is simply going to teleport away with his hammer. Neath's trying to rotate here, but Thor's just going to cut across the mid lane, go into tower, and commit ritual suicide to deny that kill to Team 7.
Olympian Tower MVP of this match right now. The Olympian Tower is now 2-for-0 in this match, has yet to die, and has tons of kills. And you're getting caught out here in the jungle as Sobek just throws him around and then backs off. Not a whole lot of follow-up there. Left lane, Apollo doing what Apollo does best, getting his tower down. Two looks like about 70% HP as Neith's going to rotate over, try to grab him up there. A good Serenade dash combination will buy him some time and get him out. Looks like in the jungle, Emir might be caught out, but there's the wall as well. They're just noping all over the place. Wingust coming out from Isis in the mid lane as Ra tries to go around. This tower's falling down. But right now, Team 7 still in the lead with 3,600 gold and 8,200 experience.
Right lane, Wukong getting bullied pretty hard, getting really low here. Kronos looking to finish his kill. Wukong's going to go in. He's happy to fight this, though. That time rift going to do a ton of damage. One more auto attack will finish him off. Wukong definitely should not have stuck around to fight that. So low on HP and a quick rewind later. Kronos is full on health. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they're trying to engage on this Isis, but nobody can seem to hit her with literally anything. So she's going to back into her tower after avoiding every single ability and auto attack. Thrown out by Ra and Thanatos, taking no damage until the archers got in range to lay down their Olympian justice.
The ultimate right side lane, Scythe comes out, silence, a good stun. Neith ultimate coming in, it's going to hit there. Now Thanatos going after this one. A few basic attacks should be enough to do it. There's Ra coming out. Does he have it? Will Ra force to use that ability here? Nope, going to clean that one up pretty cleanly overall. Thor going to go back to the jungle, come back around. Looks like Thanatos wants to clear this wave out and get some damage out. Look at that Scythe damage. Thor dropping down to about 75% HP in a single hit, as well as left tower being pushed up. Isis might have a chance to take the mid tower here if she's aggressive enough. Nope, she's going to head right back.
Thanatos building raw cooldown right now. He wants to be able to throw as many of those chunking sides as physically possible. Going for the cooldown boots and then right into a Jotun's Wrath. So with just those two items, he is going to be at the full CDR cap as they just tower dive this Thor. They don't care at all. They are pushing in, doing what they please right now. Team 7 is sitting on not a massive lead, really only a little shy of 4K gold. Not a ton, but enough that they can totally just have their way with anyone on Team 5 right now.
Mid lane, as well as Kronos right lane. Tower gonna die, throwing the Seared Pain. The each team are gonna buy time yet again, but Sobek's here. Celestial Beam coming out. Now there's Charge Spray. Sobek ultimate, she's backing up with the Wind Gust. It's not gonna be anything she can do about this. Circle protection on the ground, but there is the bite. A great wall. Can he keep him in tower range? Looks like he's not going to. Olympian Tower is not gonna get another kill this time, as Apollo goes down in the right lane trying to defend that tower. In fact, he teleported in there. It looks like Frost Breath comes out. Glacial Strike. Thanatos not in time. Popping his 2, trying to buy some time to get closer to the Emir. There goes a single sight that he goes down. Thor's like, I don't want any of this. Please go away.
He does not want to play this game right now, but Wukong does, and Wukong's going to jump in, engage him, slap him around a little bit. Looks like Thor is going to be able to get away unless the Cudgel can finish this, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough damage. Just shy! Knocked him down to about 50 HP. Thor just barely squeaks out of that one. I didn't think the Cudgel was going to be enough, but it was closer than I was expecting. I'm sure Thor's clenching pretty hard after that one.
Yep, butt diamonds have been created this day. 15 minutes in this match, 19-7, Team 7 definitely on top there. Lots of sevens being casted out here. Right side, someone calling gets his tower. Mid tower goes down as well. None of the towers for Team 7 have been conquered yet. Neith actually throwing out some basic attacks there onto the Apollo. Dropping a little Spirit Arrow, not going to land there. Dropping at half HP. Neith is getting lots of damage here. Emir is here now to play interference, and he will be able to accomplish that, as Neith also shooting at him pretty effectively. Burning Blue has had enough of the enemy team. She's actually soloing this lane for all intents and purposes. Sobek's been roaming around the map. In the jungle, we see Isis, Apollo, Thor coming around for the gank here. See if they can't grab up this Neith. Thanatos, as well as Sobek, are waiting in the wings as well. Might grab up the Apollo on the backside. If Neith can buy herself some time, she's going to do it. Frost Breath comes out. Spirit Arrow not going to land, but here comes Thor by himself. Go over there. Do they have enough damage to take him off? Looks like they will. Last hit goes to Thanatos there, and now Emir by himself, surrounded. Celestial Beam will meet him right in the face. He tries to go to the jungle, and he goes down. 2-for-0 exchange as Polynomicon gets started up by Ra.
That Polynomicon is going to make Ra into a wrecking force, combined with the thing ring that gives him a little bit of extra damage on every auto attack, every single one of them. So every attack is going to do bonus damage. Polynomicon means after an ability. Oh, the execution. Thanatos does not want to deal with you right now. Thanatos is tired of this nonsense. He's going to smash you, and then he's going to smash your tower. And once Ra gets his book done, he's going to smash your hopes and dreams.
He's planning on it. 2 teleports available for Ra and some Wukong as well, so they can definitely teleport to the right lane if they need to. And they might do it pretty soon as Kronos is pushing that one up. Left tower is taken out, unless they want to just go all the way in and just screw the 1,000 gold in that tier 1 tower and just let everything go. Tectonic Grip on the ground for some possible harassment. Emir floating in the front, so the Charge Spray going to come out. Spirit Ball, they can definitely kill Emir here. They have a lot of damage to do so. Frost Breath. And the Minotaur has a sudden heart attack as they just surrender 22-7, 11,000 gold behind. They said, you know what? We're not going to do it.
Minotaur giving his life so that Ymir may live to fight another day there. But really, look at the battle situation here. What went so wrong for Team 5? It wasn't any particular big misplays there. It was just great rotations from Team 7 with Wukong and Thanatos both pushing out, taking every opportunity to push down a kill. You can see Thanatos going 10-3, Wukong going 6-1. They just did such a good job of being wherever there was an opportunity for kills. And with Thanatos, as you were seeing in the game there, if he gets any real sort of early farm, his 1 is just going to devastate people. That Throne Scythe will chunk half of a carry's HP easily if he starts to get farmed up, and that is exactly what happened.
It certainly is, and you see right there, even with the high amounts of CDR, low damage build that he was running with, it still did lots of pure damage going right into Bloodforge thereafter. You can see overall 22-8-33 on the scoreboard for Team 7, Team 5 boasting 7, 23, and 9. 11,000 gold is a very big valley to go through, especially given the fact that Thor, who had 5 deaths, and Apollo, who had 4, had Heartseekers on both of them. They were losing stacks. Pretty much every engagement could not get that stacked up, and at that point it's very tough to be able to build yourself back up. Ymir went for a very light, non-tanky build with the Watcher's Gift into the Midas Boots. Gives him tons of gold, tons and tons and tons of gold across the board, but not as much tankiness as he would like. So that's going to be curtains for Team 5. Team 7 moves on to round of 8 to earn themselves a name for the teams we have available today. 10,000, actually 11,000 damage dealt by Thanatos, Neith, and then 12,000 by the Sun Wukong. Ra only about 6,500, but had 2,100 healing done. And of course, Sobek at 2,700. So overall, Team 7 absolutely shutting this one out. We're going to be cutting to a brief break, guys. We'll come right back with the next round of the preliminaries. Round of 8 will be beginning, and teams are earning their names right now. So thanks so much for tuning in today. We will be right back. Don't forget to donate to the Divine Intervention event for your chance at a God Pack as well as 800 gem code today. And also, for the future Steel Series giveaways as well as other things, t-shirts, God Packs, gems, all kinds of stuff available. If you need a link for that, we'll post it up in chat. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We'll see you very soon.
And so I'd say a mixture of really focusing on improving your own play as well as streaming and just trying to get your name out there is probably the best way to enter the competitive scene. I got pretty lucky because I got picked up for the Smite Games channel, and I just happened to be streaming at the time when someone from the Smite Games channel left. I can't remember who it was.